I have been cooking. The cringiest intro of all time. Hi, guys. We finally got all the juicy info on Path of Exile 2's early access launch on December 6th. Here is my live reaction to the gameplay trailer.
Without further ado, let's roll the gameplay trailer.
Nice.
Existence is a thing of beauty, precious, but impermanent. Life and death are mortal enemies, and yet bound to one another.
Oh, that's not Siri.
The continuation of life must be protected at all costs.
Holy heck.
Some have said my methods are brutal. To this, I say, there can be no salvation without sacrifice.
So it's like a modern Atziri, maybe? Experimentation on humans? I like the transition, yes. Oh, that was a cool effect. Oh, nice. An updated intro compared to the first trailer. Oh, moving and... Oh, I like that fire ability. Okay. Wow, that was a time stop ability. That's
We
kind
are
of
faced with the end, and I will do what I must.
Wait, is that the end game? No. Wait. What? That's Breach?
Those who obsess with death, let them soon be acquainted with it.
Wait. Is that the new
As you
Elder?
just saw, even in early access, Path of Exile 2 is a big game.
Now, for the rest of the video, I'll try to summarize as much as possible, but at the end, I'll give my 2 cents on a few things that I didn't really like. To start off, let us go in the same order as the live stream went. We finally got to see which classes are going to be available in early access. Yes. And going from left to right in this video on screen, we have the Sorceress, the Warrior, the Ranger, the Witch, the Mercenary, and the Monk. A wide variety of characters and classes to begin your journey through Rayclast. Once again, in the next 10 minutes of the live stream, they showed off a variety of skills that make sense for those classes. God, it looks so smooth how you can move and...
You'll want to use a wide variety of skills to mix and match different combos.
It looks so good. It looks so smooth. On the left side, you can see that it shows all the quarterstaff skill gems that could be made right now. But if you look closer, you can also make skill gems from maces, spears, bows, and whatnot. So even if they showed the Witch with a chaos damage skill, you, as a mercenary, can use the same skill. This is, after all, Path of Exile, so every character can use every type of skill. No skill is locked to a class. Yes!
There's one more important thing to mention about skills. Even though we talk about them as belong to each class, in reality there are no restrictions. You can use all these skills on any class so long as you have the attributes.
Adjacent to skill gems are support gems, which seem to give a lot of options to your active skills. It's also different now compared to PoE 1, because now you can only have one support gem of each type equipped. So if you enjoy greater multiple projectiles to shoot more projectiles from your grenade launcher, you can't have the same support gem on another skill. But as with PoE 1, you can easily swap them around and test different skills with different support gems and figure out what feels best for you.
This is a meta skill, which means that it's a skill you can put other skills into. I can take a slam like Sunder and socket it into my Ancestral Warrior totem.
No!
Now when I summon him, he'll sit there and slam the monsters from a distance.
Yo, this is busted. Boys, we're playing totem. If you still want more customizability, well, here comes the passive skill tree. It seems the passive skill tree has grown compared to Path of Exile 1. It is enormous. That's what she said. It is fully visible right away and has no fog, and thus doesn't hide what you can spec into from the second level onward. You get a skill point per level like in PoE 1. There is also dual weapon specialization as we have seen back at ExileCon 2023, but I won't go more into depth here as I really need to get my hands on it to see how it feels in the game.
But doubles the attribute requirements of them.
Fucking
You
giga
can use a
chat, bro.
two-hand mace with a shield, or even dual wield them.
God damn, dude, look at how beefy that
Mind over
looks.
matter.
I have a few things to say that relate to the items, but we'll get back to that in a bit. First off, runes are an itemized way to boost your character's power or defense depending on where you equip it. On a weapon, it gave damage, and on an armor, it gave defense in form of additional elemental resistance. This is pretty much a more intuitive way than a basic crafting bench like in PoE 1. The runes are also craftable, so you could get a really good rune to boost your damage and or defense, which wasn't possible before. Then we have vendors, which you can use to buy items with gold or sell your items and receive gold. As with the current league in Path of Exile 1, gold is not tradable. You can also gamble on items with gold. Good luck. Having mentioned gold, there is a currency exchange market like in PoE 1 right now. Keep in mind, each trade costs gold, and it does not work with base items like a weapon or unique item. Ascensions are next. Yes, finally we get some juicy info, and we get 2 out of 3 Ascensions for each class. So not all of them right away, but still 12 unique subclasses, which are already more than most other ARPGs. I'm not going to mention names here, you thought the name. Very excited to try out a few Ascensions like the Warrior's subclass that is the Warbringer using totems to enhance his combat, or the Witch's subclass, the Infernalist, which lets her transform into a literal demon. What the fuck?
She can also transform into a literal demon. While in demon form, she takes an increasing amount of damage, but her cast speed and damage increase rapidly as well.
What the fuck? But let's be honest, guys. Between us, we're playing Deadeye, right? Deadeye. Can I hear this in the comments, please? Deadeye. To be honest, I probably will play Minions. After the Ascensions, they finally told us about the trials. The way to actually ascend in PoE 2 is the Trial of Sekema or the Trial of the Chaos God, with a third option coming later. And yes, they are options, so if you don't enjoy one, you can try to ascend by doing another one. Really great to give players the option to choose what they prefer. But as always, if you die during the trial, you have to start over. It was mentioned during the Q&A with CGD that you get a quest item to do the trial, and it's a bit easier compared to a normal one. But you might be asking, what are the trials, Daniel? And thanks for, including me in your head. Anyways, so in short, the Trial of Sekema is a modernized and updated version of the Forbidden Sanctum from PoE 1. But everything seems to be a lot higher quality, like visuals, story, and gameplay. I'm sure the bosses and monsters might kick my teeth in a few times. The other trial is called the Trial of the Chaos God. It is Ultimatum, but also modernized, visually way more appealing than a circle, and seems to have additional gameplay compared to PoE 1. I think the Trial of the Chaos God is easier if you are less tanky and are also more mechanically skilled. What's just being
This
Ultimatum?
ancient trial was once used by the Vile to test their high priests.
It's gonna be
A
Ultimatum,
high
isn't it?
priest of the Vile must show willingness to risk everything to gain power. Entry to the trial requires a token from a strange
There he
entity
is!
known only.
Good luck to everyone at launch. Just kidding. I will yoink everyone's luck because I'll need it. Please help. Then we got explained what early access will be about and how it's structured. Great to see them explain this visually by showing that early access is only having the first 3 acts, then a most likely easier repeat of the first 3 acts again at a higher difficulty, followed by the endgame. Now, the endgame. There's a lot to go over. We have the entire atlas, which is fully randomized and infinite in all directions. Areas which are these spots require you to use a waystone on them so you can enter that location. Probably the most important part that you need to take away from this video is you can fail a map or area. If you die inside that area, it's over. There is no repeat, and thus you have to find a different path on the atlas to continue your journey. They showed off a few familiar expansions from PoE 1, but updated, like shrines, essences, and strongboxes. Quite important is the Atlas skill tree, which is now much smaller and has the content separated. So to get points for ritual, you need to do ritual content. Same as with the other ones, like Expedition, Delirium, and Breach. If you enjoy one type of content, you can focus on progressing just that one right away, instead of having to do many maps to get Atlas skill points to finally juice up your ritual. I want to briefly focus on tablets. You will require tablets to force more content like it. These tablets drop from whatever content you run, like Breach, and allows you to influence the surrounding area with more Breach content.
Breaches will drop breach tablets. Clicking on a completed tower will allow you to consume the tablet to add more breaches to areas within range of the tower. This makes all the content in the Atlas self-sustaining. Want to do more breaches? Find the tablets, add them to your towers, get more breaches, getting more tablets. Soon your Atlas will be covered in otherworldly domains.
It's a cool self-sustaining system, not like Scarabs from PoE 1, which is great to see. Additionally, there are endgame versions of the trials if you want to grind those instead. At last, they briefly showed off 2 out of the 3 pinnacle bosses, and one of them was Doriani. They showed off Doriani like it's no big deal. Like, what the fuck?
And in the Atlas tree. This
Yo,
tree allows you to juice
did that
the
just say
danger and rewards
Doriani?
of all areas in the endgame.
Hello? Before my head explodes thinking of crazy build ideas, I want to go over a few things that irked me while watching the live stream. Keep in mind, I haven't played the game yet, so this is all just in my head. It might not be that bad when I'm finally in the game. Going back to items and salvaging. I despise salvaging in video games. I love PoE 1 because you can just throw your stuff at an NPC and get stuff back, like fragments or pieces towards an orb. But from the few seconds they showed, it seems like if you wanted to get blacksmith whetstones, which can be used to boost your quality of your weapon, you need to go to a specific bench, click the salvaging button, and manually salvage every single item in your inventory to get things that you usually get from just selling to a vendor. I hope there will be massive quality of life improvements to just press one button and salvage stuff instantly. Because not only do I need to go to the vendor to check for items, but I also need to go to the salvaging bench to salvage stuff. So there are two locations you always go to, not only during the story, but many times during the endgame, over and over and over. Let's hope they improve this during early access. Another negative part, which I think long term becomes positive, is the Atlas skill tree in PoE 2. So in Path of Exile 2, as we heard and saw, if you wanted to switch from Ritual to Breach, you have to run many breaches to level up that small skill tree from the ground up, if you wanted to have similar juicing, if you know what I mean. But currently in Path of Exile 1, if you have the points, you can just swap over your entire tree and have a fully juiced breach encounter right away. But you can never have all the content fully juiced, because you run out of points. In PoE 2, it seems like the absolute and ultra juiced endgame might be to get all the points of all the different types of content in the endgame, and then force that content on the map or area you wanted to run. So instead of having 1 or 2 types of content like in PoE 1 that you juice, you could maybe have 3, 4 or even 5 types of endgame content at the same time, fully juiced, and have maximum reward from them. Super exciting to think about this, but I'm sure this will take some time to get there. The last thing that relates to running said content in PoE 2 are tablets. In my opinion, they are just different sextants. Like, let's be honest. I hated sextants in Path of Exile 1 because they were very micromanagey. Now, these tablets influence multiple maps or areas, and potentially more areas than sextants were, which is good. And then, if the maps are much larger in PoE 2, having more monsters in them and giving more loot for the time they require, then it might not be that micromanagey like I think it will. Only time will tell, and I'll keep you guys updated in December whenever I finish all my trials. Please help. In total honesty, it's a bit overwhelming, and as humans, change is never easy, and this seems to be the biggest change of it all. Still, I'm very excited to finally play the game on my own, new PC at my own pace, live on Twitch during the launch on December 6th. Yes! Come by if you want to see how many times I die against bosses, or if you can't get into early access yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, subscribe for more Path of Exile 2 content in the near future. Let me know down below what class you'll be playing at launch. And don't forget to stay hydrated, gamers.